We think we're live. Let's give it a shot. It's always a delay, but we'll see. I'm just going to spin my wheel for a little bit. We'll talk. Jimmy Toscano.
Welcome to the show.
Bobby Manning down below. As you see, have a sponsor.
Or a tripod.
We've got a sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of tripod.
I'm going to tell you about him a little bit. It's Manscaped. Everyone loves Manscaped. You get, the whole performance package kit. It's ready for you. I'm going to give you details on it later, but 20% off, free shipping. Use the code GARDEN20, and that's it. It's all yours. But we are here not to talk about grooming. We're here to talk about the Celtics. We are less than a week out to the draft. It's a really eventful week, as everybody here knows. Obviously, you have the big story was the passing of Tommy Heinsohn. We're going to get into that in a little bit. He's a legend. Everyone's got their stories. I know Jimmy does. I do. We both had the privilege of working with him. I worked with Tommy for 10 years. And so obviously this is a tremendous loss. Yeah. Tremendous loss for the Celtics family, for everybody. He's the one tie we have to all 17 championships. So we're going to talk about Tommy for sure. We're also going to talk about the NBA draft. Really only Bobby has any clue what he's talking about. So we're just going to let him talk for a little bit. And Jimmy and I are going to go to the bathroom.
Look at that notepad.
He's got his notepad.
It's a thick one.
We're gonna nod. Whatever it is, here's my draft philosophy. This is how I deal with all drafts. All I do is just get angry.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm pre-angry.
There's more booing than cheering on draft night.
Right. I'm angry no matter what we do, no matter what the Celtics do, no matter what the Patriots do. That's just my MO. I just get angry.
Sure.
So whatever you say, Bobby, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate that player.
All right.
Okay.
And that's actually a good way to just go through life in general.
Yeah. I hate it first, and you got to talk me into liking it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing we've got is some interesting rumors. So this is where it gets fun, and we're going to start with it right out of the gate. Right away, the Celtics. We know Danny wants to move. Jimmy, are you all right there, buddy?
Dude, yeah, when you see me do that, I'm just adjusting the screen. I'm looking at some
your
of the
head
comments
is
and stuff.
You're barely hanging on, though. I'm really worried about the top of your head.
I'm right here. Because I haven't got
I just want to make sure I see all of you. So here's what happened today. Kevin O'Connor, and I'm going to read the little snippet here in his updated mock draft. He always drops a great nuggets in here, too. These are gold mines. But here's what he wrote. He said, the Celtics have offered up their 3 first-round picks, 14, 26, and 30, in trades to try to move up into the lottery. Technically, 14 is in the lottery, right?
Yep.
Yeah, higher into the lottery. He wrote into the lottery. But multiple league sources say they intend to reroute that pick to the Pelicans in exchange for Jrue Holiday. If Boston is able to acquire the necessary assets, they still need to add salaries to make this work, which could mean, dun, 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 Gordon Hayward or Kemba Walker could be on the move, which is where things start to get interesting. Now, at face value, it would seem that all of this plus a player for Jrue Holiday would seem like an overpay. So you're looking here, Bobby and Jimmy, realistically to involve a third team, get more player movement. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that's the type of deal you can make, which is to say all of those picks plus a player for Holiday, when you can argue whether or not even the player going over is of equal value. But just what do you guys think of this deal, and what would it take to make it work?
It makes sense because of the fact that you have 2 players here in Jrue Holiday, Gordon Hayward, who are essentially expiring contracts if Holiday opts out of the second year of his player option, which is next year for $26 million. I do think you're right, John, that they're going to need a third team to get this done. Now, there's 2 intriguing players there: the Atlanta Hawks, who have been talking to New Orleans consistently about moving up to that number 6 pick, and the Indiana Pacers, who continue to be linked to the Boston Celtics in some way. I think you end up diverting Hayward somewhere else in one of those scenarios, and then taking Jrue Holiday back to the Celtics, and then possibly having either Miles Turner come to the Celtics. It's going to be complicated. There's a lot of guys moving around here because Jrue Holiday makes 26 and Hayward makes 34, which isn't in that salary matching range. The tricky thing is, though, is Hayward going to be on the roster? I think that's where this gets difficult because he's essentially going to have to sign off on this trade.
Right.
I don't think he's going to opt in. I mean, if you had the option to opt in, if you was
He'll do
intent
what
on
Robin
opting
tells
in,
him to do. Okay.
yeah,
So
I think we would have. I think
Wow.
we would have heard it already,
we
though.
don't know what that is.
I think we would have heard if he was staying. So he's gonna
Retire?
opt on and give himself that flexibility.
No, I mean, look, with the numbers here in the cap, I mean, the realistically, he stands to lose a lot by opting out, unless I don't think that deal's there for him this year, but it might be next year. I think he opts in. And if he does, then we talked about the necessity to move him. And so this does make sense if it's Hayward for Holiday. It does get intriguing though when you start to talk about other potential players here. Now, one could be, and again, Kevin O'Connor mentioned him, Kemba Walker. This might be early to jump off the Kemba train. It's really more of an interesting conversation in a bubble about Kemba. Regardless of whether or not you're involved in a deal for Holiday here, whether or not the Celtics would want to try to find a way out of the Kemba situation after only a year. And Jimmy, you're shaking your head no.
It seems like a rushed move. It seems like what is wrong with us that we can't enjoy Kemba Walker for more than a year here in Boston? I mean, are we that like in this world that we're in now? We just are constantly on to the next thing, the best thing, the better thing. Like, we're already calling Kemba Walker damaged goods. Like, we're already trying to get rid of him. Oh, he's 30 plus years old, and the team's younger, and they need to make sure that they're set up for the future. It's like, can we just try to enjoy Kemba Walker and this team? Because when the Celtics when the previous season just started, these guys were clicking on all cylinders. And I know that the last time we remember Kemba Walker is, he was a defensive liability, or he wasn't hitting his shots the way he was. And one of the storylines was, what's wrong with Kemba Walker? Can he coexist with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? It's like, yes, I think he can. And I think they were kind of jumping the gun here. Look, if people are trying to trade him just to bring in another 30-plus year guard in like a Jrue Holiday, I don't know if that's really, improvement there. So I think what's important to me is let's see if Kemba Walker is healthy. I think he will be. This guy wasn't damaged goods when he came to Boston. He hasn't been a player that's missed a ton of time over the years, as far as I can remember. And I think that he can still contribute a lot. And I think that he is the attitude. He is a player with the right attitude. So it's not just, what his skills are, but I think his mentality is, I think his leadership is what this team needs. And I think he's a player that the team should consider keeping around. I wouldn't just dump him just for the sake of